How are we? There's the button. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. It is Game Week 14, the week after the free hit, the midweek round of FPL. I hope you are all doing well. A busy week. Free hit, big in Game Week 13, then midweek FPL, then Game Week 15, where we have to use all of our transfers. So we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about my team, as captaincy is definitely not locked in this week. We need to talk about it. I will also have a poll up in the chat in just a moment, having a look at captaincy. But before we get into all of that, before we do that, let's say hello to some of you in the chat. If you are in, say hello, and we will do the usual stuff, and then we'll crack on with the stream. Let me, Fernandez, Saka, other. So, who have we got in here already? Hello to Nosensi, hello to Ayas, hello to FC Samp, hello to Wade, hello to Ewan, FPL Vert, Saksham, hello to Jordan, hello to Ewan, hello to Fiona, hello to Aviation, hello to DUJ, hello to Mark, and all the other members and moderators. Brian, hello to you all. And to everyone else in this wonderful afternoon, Tom, Jayan, Ilori, FPL Shawnee, Matthew, Crocs, Lozil, DHD, Peter, Spaghetti Code, who else have we got? Bizeld, Ryan, KA, Dominic, Nathan, Mohammed, Lane, Aaron, Vince, Geodude, Neil, JH, Grumpy, Saldu, Abdu, John, Bishu, DHD. Well, I've already said you get a double shout out. And who else? We've got Luke and Dominic. Hello to you all. Hope you're all doing well. So, where should we start? Let's start with my team. This is getting a bit, there we go. That looks a bit better. So, let's talk about my team. 2 transfers confirmed. Senesi left, who was suspended. Not enough good upcoming fixtures for Bournemouth from a defensive point of view. I still don't mind him for DEFCON, but I sold him and I bought in Timber. Elsewhere in my team, I also had Saar. I needed to free up the money to go to Timber all the way from Senesi. I didn't have enough money in the bank, so I downgraded Saar to Anderson of Forest, a player that I've actually spoken quite a lot about over the past couple of weeks as a nice cheap option with some nice fixtures. I didn't think I'd be able to get to him very soon, and maybe some of those nice fixtures would pass. But with the Saar injury, it was time to sell him. I couldn't do Minter and Timber. I probably would have gone with Minter and Timber if the price gap was closer between them, but I didn't have the money for it, so I just went with Anderson. And those are my 2 transfers. It was a -4. I did also consider doing Timber next week or after the deadline, going into Game Week 15 with my free transfer next week, but I just decided that the price changes were going to be too fierce. There was too much going on with the potential change that I'm looking at of Mateta to Thiago and Richards to Munoz. I now only have 0.1 million in the bank for those couple of transfers, which I'm looking at over the next couple of weeks. And if I hadn't have bought Timber and Timber Rose, I'd now have 0.0 spare on those 3 transfers and would likely get priced out. So at the moment, I've got 0.1 spare. I might not end up doing those transfers. I might end up just buying Thiago a different way. I'm pretty certain I'm going to buy Thiago in either 15 or 16, but it might be Enzo Fernandez, it might be Semenyo, or it might be Mateta. Those are the 3 players that I've got my eye on to sell in order to get Thiago for either 15 or for 16. Of course, Enzo would be the obvious one, but he is also the cheapest. So it makes my life harder with future transfers if I was to sell Enzo, whereas if I sell Mateta up to 8.1 million now, or I sell Semenyo up to 7.8, it makes my life easier if I was to sell them. So that is where we're at with the team. Captaincy is currently on Haaland, but I'm really tempted by Bruno. The poll in the chat is 60% Haaland, 25% Bruno, 5% Saka, and 9% on someone else. I am ruling out Saka as captain for me. I think there's a slight risk of his minutes, maybe more so than you get with Fernandes and Haaland. I think Brentford are a good side. I don't think Saka is that involved enough in everything that Arsenal are doing. So, yeah, that's where we're at. At the moment, it's on Haaland, but I do like Bruno. Now, if there was Bruno today and Haaland on Thursday, I don't think I would be considering moving it to Bruno. I do think the fact that Bruno is later on in the week is playing a little bit of a part in the thinking of it. West Ham are definitely worse than Fulham, absolutely. But I still don't look at Bruno and think there's that much goal threat. There's that much goal threat for him. If I look at his XG, 0.01, 0.36, 0.24, 0.09, 0.38, 0.20, 0.17. Does he absolutely have the ability to score goals? Yes. But Haaland's data, I mean, Leeds wasn't great for anyone who triple captained him. That was unfortunate. But 1.5 against Newcastle, 0.8 against Liverpool, 1.3 against Bournemouth, 0.23 against Villa. He's definitely better at home. If Haaland had Fulham at home, I wouldn't be considering moving it. But the away data is definitely not as good for Haaland as some of the home data. So apart from the first couple of games. So that's where we're at. Please do vote in the captaincy poll. I am somewhere between Haaland and Bruno. If there's nothing that forces me to switch, then maybe I end up on Haaland still. But yeah, I am very much considering Bruno for captaincy. The other benefit to going Haaland is Haaland's going to be the only player above 100% owned. So at least if Bruno does well, he still benefits my rank. So I still get a green arrow if Bruno scores. Whereas if I captain Bruno and and Haaland does well, it's not the same. Haaland scores tonight, it will be his 100th Premier League goal. Yeah, but people said that before Leeds, right? And it felt so obvious that he'd get his 100th Premier League goal home to Leeds in game week 13. So milestones, unfortunately, don't always bring goals. Will Isak start? I don't think it's guaranteed. I think Ekitike may well start given that he's back for them. And there's a lot of minutes for some of those players in quite a short space of time. Gakpo I quite like. I don't think I'd be captaining him. In terms of buying Gakpo, I think he should be starting the majority of games. That left sort of wing spot, left inside forward with the way that they lined up the other day feels pretty secure for it to be Gakpo's, but I wouldn't be captaining him. When should I sell? Which should I sell for a -4? Senesi or Tarkowski? Also for O'Reilly or Chalobah. I'd rather O'Reilly than Chalobah, I think. And I'd sell Tarkowski before Senesi just purely based off the value, I think. Need my thoughts. Senesi and Sarr out. You can do Timber and Anderson or Malak Chow and Minter and Van Dijk to Timber for a -4. Well, I went Anderson and Timber, so that would be my recommendation. Would sell Semenyo for Bruno and start Tarkowski. I don't really like the idea of selling Semenyo this week, if I'm honest. So no, I probably wouldn't look to do that. I think Semenyo at home to Everton is absolutely fine this week. I think it's a decent enough fixture. I think he was pretty unlucky not to get anything last week. So yeah, I probably wouldn't. Now, if it's the only way for you to get Bruno and next week it's going to be the same, and the week after it's going to be the same, then fine. Then maybe I would do it, because every week Bruno is probably slightly better than Semenyo. But Fulham have conceded 3 goals at home. So I was looking at this before the start of the stream, that they have only conceded 3 goals at home. They've played Liverpool, Leeds. Sorry, that's Haaland. They've played Sunderland, Wolves, Arsenal, Brentford, Leeds, and United. So the fixtures caused that a little bit, but Fulham have definitely been good at home this season. But then again, it's a pretty quick turnaround for them, which they're probably not used to. So yeah. Is Szoboszlai overrated? Barnes is on better form and is somewhat a talisman of Newcastle. Barnes' minutes are definitely not safe. With Gordon back available, I'm not sure I'd be going for Barnes. I've had a few questions about him this week, but yeah, it's not for me. Someone said check stats. Muse Haaland versus Fulham. I think he's played 6, scored 6. He's played 6, scored 6, but that was because he scored a hat-trick in 2023 against them. Past couple of seasons, he scored away at Fulham last season. He blanked at home to them. He blanked away at them the previous season. Scored a hat-trick at home. Scored 1 away at them the season before. So I suppose the question is the chance of Haaland scoring a brace doesn't feel that high. And if you've got a week where Haaland is unlikely to score a brace, is that a good enough reason to go against him? Am I concerned about playing Semenyo? No, not at all. I think he's still a pretty good pick. I might end up holding him for a while. Will Salah play? Probably. It's not guaranteed though, particularly after they won last week without him. Does Gakpo start? I think so, yeah. Sell Mateta to Welbeck to fund Bruno. I'd try and find another way, but I'm not against selling Mateta. He might actually be the player I end up selling for 15. If Semenyo and Enzo look really good this week, then Mateta might well go just to Thiago. You're close to captaining Bruno. It's a flip. However, if 18.5% ownership on him, it could be Haaland for safety and Bruno for great rewards. Yeah, Haaland is definitely the safer option. So if you're uncertain of it and you want to play it safe, Haaland is definitely the safer of the 2 captains. Yeah. His ownership will be higher at every single rank you are. So that can impact thinking if it needs to. It definitely comes into my thinking, I won't lie, that having a look at ownership for captaincy is something that's take part of my consideration. Is Yates a good cheaper pick for Anderson? No, Yates is not nailed. So, no. Worth picking up Dewsbury Hall and for a -4. No, he scored a couple of goals in the past couple of games, Dewsbury Hall, but it's still not that reliable. I don't think he's a bad pick at his price. I think he's still pretty good, but I think you can probably do better than him. I wouldn't take a hit for him. What's the chance of Bruno Fernandes going fire this week? I mean, it's more anything on West Ham than anything else. Like, his returns have been good, but they haven't been that explosive so far this season, apart from his penalties earlier on in the season and the goal he scored against 10-man Chelsea. So, I don't know. Like, Haaland definitely feels more explosive, but Bruno definitely has the better fixture. I don't think anyone's doubting that Bruno at home to West Ham is a better fixture than Haaland away at Fulham. Yeah. If I had enough money, would I get Minter instead of Anderson? Yes, I would. Yeah. If I'd have had the money in the bank to do Timber and Minter, I probably would have done it. Yeah. I prefer Minter over Anderson. They just offer you different things at different prices. Rice or Sarr. Sarr's injured, so yeah, Rice. Is Sarr to Yeremy Pino not a good option? I just worry about Palace's defense as a whole without Sarr there. Like a couple of years ago, they had Sarr, Eze, and Elise, and now they've got none of them. I do worry a little bit about them creating chances, which is why I am looking potentially to sell Bruno. So yeah, I'm not sure I'd go to Yeremy Pino. You're chasing rank, so boring, risky. Semenyo to Wirtz or Foden for a hit. I'd much rather buy Foden than Wirtz. Yeah, Foden. Couple of questions about Foden in the chat. Pep has always said that when he's in a good moment, the best thing to do is to give him minutes. And yeah, I think that's what we'll see. I think we'll continue to get very good minutes. And if you're looking for another City attacker, based off what we saw at the weekend, is Foden is probably the second best City pick, yeah. So I don't know if he's necessarily worth the money, but I think it's worth a gamble with some of the fixtures they've got coming up. Who should be lined up with Van Dijk and Richards? Well, I've gone Timber was the defender I brought in this week. Is Palmer playing and starting? I'm not certain he'll start. I think we might see minutes off the bench for him and then a start against Bournemouth. I think that's more likely. I wouldn't be buying Palmer or even trying to buy Palmer at the moment. Maresca's also said that they're going to have to manage his minutes over the next few games while he gets back to full fitness. So again, I wouldn't be buying Palmer at the moment. Would I sell and die to Bruno for a hit? Yeah, probably. Lacroix or O'Reilly. I think I probably would go Lacroix there unless you have another route in a couple of weeks to go for someone like Munoz. I still think this isn't the best entry point for a Manchester City defender away at Fulham. I think at home to Sunderland or at home to Leeds last week may have been slightly better. Maybe you just want to go O'Reilly with some of the upcoming games that they've got, and I think that's fair. But yeah. This probably isn't the best week, and I'd rather Lacroix this week. Now, long term, who's better? I still think I'd back Lacroix as a safer pick. Would I play Thiago or Semenyo? Definitely Semenyo. Yeah. Richards. Is Richards going to start? I think he's probably the player in my lineup that I see as the biggest risk. And as a result, I've got plans to upgrade him either just to Lacroix or Marc Guéhi or all the way up to Daniel Munoz over the next couple of weeks. Because I'm just thinking he's not fully nailed and he often misses midweek games. Now, if he plays this game, he suddenly becomes a really, really good pick. Because that risk of minutes rotation suddenly gets massively dampened. And it's just the fact that he plays most of the games that he needs in the Premier League and might not play the other games, which might actually make him an even better pick than some of the others in there. But right at the moment, I couldn't recommend anyone to buy Richards just based off of that. Based off of the minutes. Does playing it safe or playing it aggressive change who you'd want to captain? If you're chasing, is this a good week to go against Haaland? I probably would say yes. I always go back to the fact that you want to captain the player that you expect to score the most amount of points, right? So if you genuinely think Haaland outscores Bruno, then even if you're chasing rank, you still want to captain Haaland because he is likely to score the most points this week. But if you think they're going to score the same and you're chasing rank, then maybe this is a good week to go against Haaland based off his away record this season not being as good as his home record. Fulham not being that bad at home. Some of their home defensive data is very, very solid. So there are lots of things combining that this is a week if you're chasing, you could look to do something different. I was going to have a look at... home data so far this season, Fulham are 5th for expected goals conceded. And in away matches this season, West Ham are 16th for expected goals conceded. Would I start Marino or Sarr to Rice or Minter or Mount? I wouldn't buy Mount. I'd buy Minter over Rice, and I probably wouldn't start Marino. I think Gyökeres will probably start. You've got 4 free transfers. What do I think of these moves? João Pedro to Guiu, Ndai to Saka, Senesi to O'Reilly. Yeah, quite like all of those. What about keep Mateta bench forward to Thiago? Yeah, so if I don't sell Mateta to Thiago, I will sell one of Enzo and Semenyo to a cheaper midfielder in order to upgrade Mark Guiu to Thiago. So that's the couple of plans that I've got with my team. What do I think of Foden? Yeah, good pick. I still like him as the best second City attacker. He's just slightly more expensive than I'd want. Best 6 million Caicedo replacement. If you don't have money for Minter, I would go with Elliot Anderson, as that's the choice that I had, and that's the decision that I made. Anderson and Malik Chow, or Dewsbury Hall and O'Reilly. I think Anderson and Chow is better. And you have Virgil van Dijk, Van der Ven, Senesi, Rodon and Munoz. Should I sell Senesi, Van der Ven or just play Van der Ven? I'd probably just play... I'd probably want an Arsenal defender. I wouldn't sell them for a hit, no. Especially when now there's no value tied up in it. What makes you so sure that Timber is not a rotation risk? So, I mean, last season, Timber played an awful lot of these games over this Christmas period, but Ben White was out in that period. So there is a different caveat to it. But with both centre-backs out and Calafiori still being a little bit uncertain for minutes, I'm not sure, particularly given that they dropped points and that Brentford don't look too bad, that he'll rotate this team massively in this game. I think we'll see a pretty full-strength Arsenal lineup tomorrow night. You're taking a -8? I took a -4, so join the club. Join the club. Bruno for Mbermo. I wouldn't do that this week. Like, if you've got Mbermo and you don't have Bruno, you need to be leaving money in the bank to potentially go to Bruno in the next couple of weeks. But I don't think I'd be doing that transfer this week. Where you asked about the attacks, right? So, in away matches, XG, City are where? They've scored 8 goals. They're like 6th. And home matches, XG, Man United are very high up there. Now, if you look at all matches, and let's say you look at XG, City are top, but they are better at home. And Man United are still pretty high up there, right? But they have had more... I was going to say they had more penalties, but I'm not sure they actually have. I think they might have had more than City, but it's not actually... There might be 1 or 2 in it. What about doing Illiman and Dye to Minter? Is it good? So I actually think a few people have asked me this. I don't think you need to do that transfer this week. Do I think that Minter is definitely better than Ndai this game week? Maybe slightly, but I don't think there's that much in it because you're selling a penalty taker against a Bournemouth team who are leaking chances at the moment. So I don't think it's an essential transfer this week, but it is probably a transfer I'd look to make at some point. And if you need the money for it, then yeah, you can do it this week. But it's only freeing up like 0.4 or something now. Play Anderson and Dubravka or take a -4 to swap 1. It depends if you've got money in the bank. I wouldn't do like Pope to Verbruggen for a hit. I might do Pope to Raya to a hit if you've got the money. And yeah, Anderson, if you've got a way to do Senesi to a big defender, like a Munoz, like a Van Dijk, like a Timber, then that's fine. But around his price, it's probably not worth it. Would I bench O'Reilly over Thiago? I'd play Thiago over O'Reilly. You need a cheap defender. Twanzebe, Alderete, Mukiele, Rodon. You still have bench boost. Well, it might depend a little bit on which defender has the best fixture in the week you want to bench boost. I would say Rodon is still probably my favourite. Or you can just go with Stev at Burnley, who's dropped down to 3.9 million now. And yeah, is a nice cheap option. Anderson for Stack. Yeah, if you've got Stack and you want to sell him, I think that's fine. Captaincy is interesting. Bruno is slightly higher than I thought he'd be. Is that the back-to-back blanks for Haaland? I suppose he's, I mean, the City one's difficult because he missed a pen, right? Away at Newcastle, he blanked. Away at Villa, he blanks. Leeds, he blanked. Interesting. People are definitely considering going against him this week. Triple captain for me will be game week 17, Haaland at home to West Ham, unless something happens. That's the plan. That's the plan for me. You've got 5 free transfers and no chips played. You're going to have to start getting aggressive with some of those moves. There's only 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You've got 6 weeks left to play 4 chips. If you're not playing one this week, then it's 5 weeks left to play 4 chips. Do I think João Pedro will start? Probably, although it's definitely not guaranteed for him. Take a -4 for Sarr to Anderson or play Krupi. I'd probably take that hit. Yeah, I think there's a chance that Krupi does start this game, but I don't think it's enough reliability that I'd want him in my team. I think O'Reilly starts. I think City go pretty full strength, given that Fulham have been pretty good at home this season. Enzo Maresca has basically said that Caicedo won't start this game. That Reece James won't start this game, even with Caicedo suspended. No Man City leaks. I would expect it to be pretty much the same. The only change that I might envisage is Cherky back in for Reinders. Would I rather start Enzo or Thiago? Enzo. Munoz or Timber for Senesi? I went Timber when I could have bought Munoz. Munoz on 4 yellow cards. He also plays slightly more difficult fixtures over the next 3 games, I think. So Timber was my preferred replacement out of them. Yeah, if you're wondering about when to play your chips, I did a whole section in today's video, the complete guide on best opportunities to use your chips if you've still got them available. I did all of them, free hit, wildcard, bench boost, triple captain, and I spoke through all 4 of those. So if you've still got chips left and you're wondering when to play them, I would have a watch of that video. It doesn't have to be now. You can do it after the deadline because that section is still relevant even once game week 14 starts. Triple captain is either 15 at home to Sunderland or 17 at home to West Ham for Haaland. Do I think Newcastle defenders could be a decent punt for future weeks? Yeah, Malik Chow is probably up there with one of the best defenders to buy this week. He might even be in my top defenders. Yeah, he's number 5. They've got Spurs at home, Burnley at home, Sunderland away in the next 3. You accidentally made 3 transfers for a -8 earlier. I was seeing what was possible. Stick with the hit or play your free hit last minute. The transfers were Senesi, Sarr and Enzo to O'Reilly, Foden and Anderson. I'd stick with those. O'Reilly's better than Senesi, Foden's better than Enzo and Anderson's better than Sarr. So I think that's fine. Like a -8's not ideal, but yeah, I would just stick with that. Odds of Pope playing, he's been ruled out, so I would say 0. -4 to get Anderson and bench João Pedro. No, because I think João Pedro will probably start. It's not guaranteed. There is a definite risk with João Pedro. I'm glad I don't own him this week and don't have to make that decision. But I think more than likely, he's more likely to start than not. As a result, I wouldn't buy Palmer. Another question in the chat. I wouldn't be spending the money on Palmer. I don't think he starts Leeds and Bournemouth. I don't think he starts both games. So as a result, I don't think he starts Leeds. Who scores more points in the next 2 fixtures from Rice, Foden and Mbeumo? I'd go Foden out of those because also he's the better long-term pick that if you get to game week 16 and you're not going to sell him, he's the best one out of those to have. It's close, but I think I'd buy Foden out of all of them, even just a short-term punt. Do I think Neto starts? No. He's played so many minutes and he looks so tired against Arsenal. I think Neto probably doesn't start. I imagine it's Gittins, Esteval, or... yeah, maybe Gittins, Esteval. Thoughts on De Ligt? I still don't back Man United to keep enough clean sheets. His DEFCON's not bad. His attacking threat's not bad. But defensively, I still don't think they're good enough to really be buying a Man United defender. When you've got others at the likes of City, at the likes of Newcastle for a very similar price, I don't think I'd be buying. I don't think I'll be buying him. Barnes is a great shout. I'd much rather buy Bruno Guimaraes. I think Barnes' minutes are still all up in the air. We've seen it at his time at Newcastle in the past when we thought he was fully nailed and he was scoring goals and then he gets just taken out of the team, particularly when they have a lot of fixtures and they've not been doing particularly well in the Champions League and they have to go pretty full strength in that competition as well. I don't think I'd be buying Harvey Barnes at the moment. Would I start Richards or João Pedro? That's really close. It just comes down to... I mean, I reckon I'd go João Pedro because I think Richards has a bigger risk. Well, he has the equal risk of probably not starting as maybe João Pedro does. And if they both were to start, I'd rather João Pedro in my team than Richards. Anderson or Ndai? Ndai is better this week, but he's also much more expensive. Sell Rice and Mateta for Bruno and Welbeck. I don't think I'd sell Rice and Mateta this week. No. They've both got great fixtures, so no. If I heard news on one of my players not starting, would I play Guiu? I mean, this evening, the only games I've got Semenyo and Haaland are the only 2 players I've got in tonight's games. So, I mean, if Semenyo misses out, I'd probably just play Anderson over them, I think. Yeah, I think. I can't see either of them not starting. Pope to Raya or Senesi to Timber. If you've got Dubravka, I think playing Dubravka this week, if you're a Pope owner, is absolutely fine this week. Gakpo or Iliman Ndiaye. Gakpo, probably. Yeah. Ndiaye's got to go at some point. He's going to AFCON, so... is Cherki starting? I don't know. I imagine he will. I imagine the change for City will be he'll start over Reinders. Best cheap replacement for Senesi for a -4. There aren't any cheap defenders who are great this week. Really? Cheap defenders for a -4. I probably wouldn't. Malik Chow, but I don't think he's worth a hit. So I probably wouldn't do that. I don't think. You took a -4 to Senesi to Timber and Caicedo to Bruno Fernandes. Still have Sarr on the bench. Is it good or should I have just played Thiago? I think that's fine. I imagine you're playing Thiago unless you're playing a back 4 if you've still got Sarr. Yeah, Richards, but I don't think you can reliably buy Richards this week. Just because I don't think he's guaranteed to start. So I don't think you can buy Richards. He's not played a lot of the midweek games for Palace. And if Canvo is likely to start a game, this is surely the best one for him to do whilst everyone else is also available. So I think Richard's probably 60% starts, but I don't think that's enough for you to buy him. You haven't taken any hits this season. The first season you've done that 386k. I think this is my second hit of the season. Yeah, 121k, but after the hit, I dropped to 150k. So 150k starting game week. If I get a green arrow, if we continue to move positively, I'll be happy with that. My team in 15 looks all right. It looks okay. This is my team in 15 with 1 free. It's not perfect, but I've got double Arsenal, Bruno away at Wolves, Haaland, Saka, Semenyo against Enzo, Mateta, Anderson. Like, it's all right. Richards could play over Anderson, but at the moment I've got Richards as the one that I'm looking to bench. So that's where we're at. I'll have 1 free transfer. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how Mateta gets on. It might well be Mateta to Thiago next week. And then in 16, I could do, Munoz in if I wanted to. Calafiori or Konate. Is bench boost risky this week? I wouldn't buy Calafiori this week. I don't think. I think he probably should start, but I think there's a bit of risk and a bit of doubt around that. And I also probably wouldn't buy Konate this week. But if you need it for the bench boost, then I'd probably buy Konate. No, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably go Calafiori and hope he starts. Thiago or Burn? Probably Burn. Gakpo or Rice? Probably Gakpo if you've got the money, but there's not actually that much to pick between them now in terms of price. If I have Tosin, would I start him or put him first bench? I think Tosin probably starts because I don't think Fofana starts. It depends how good your other defenders are. Yeah. What do I think on Saka captain? I'm not certain. I'm not certain Saka's got enough goal threat at the moment. Like, I watch Arsenal and I'm not certain Saka's going to be involved in what they do. I also feel a little bit the same about Bruno, which is why the armband isn't on him at the moment. But then Bruno at the weekend, like, Bruno against Palace, right? He got 2 assists, but like, what did he do to get those 2 assists? Virtually nothing. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not on Saka captain. He's probably, like, comfortably out of my thinking now. It's either Bruno or Haaland. Maybe I'm just happy enough having Haaland. But Cunha being back makes United better. Is Saka really a must-own? Absolutely not. I think the only player in the game at the moment who's must-own is Haaland, maybe Bruno. Bruno's not must-own. So Haaland and maybe an Arsenal defender is probably all I'd put into the must-own category. Munoz captain. His attacking threat has definitely dropped over the past couple of games with the amount of fixtures that they've got and his... the amount of games that they've got and his fatigue is starting to show. Man United are definitely worse against low block, so it depends how West Ham set up. Yeah. Do West Ham know how to low block? I feel like they just concede goals wherever they go at the moment. Thoughts on starting Mark Guiu? I don't think he starts, so I wouldn't do that personally. He'll probably get some minutes late on if we're winning. But, yeah, I wouldn't be starting Mark Guiu. I think it's not worth the gamble. And even if he does start, like, we've seen this before. There was a week earlier on in the season where Mark Guiu was suddenly really likely to start. The week we had Sunderland at home. And everyone was like, yeah, Guiu's going to start. But people forget that Guiu starting doesn't mean Guiu gets points. And he didn't. And he got taken off after 60 minutes. So just because he starts doesn't mean he's a good pick. So yeah, if you've got Guiu, just put him last on your bench and probably don't move him again until you sell that spot. Start Thiago or Ndiaye. I'd play Ndiaye over Thiago. Thiago is great. Listen, Thiago's a great pick, but away at Arsenal is one of the hardest fixtures you can possibly get. Would I captain Anderson as a differential? No. Basically, any captain that's not Haaland is a differential. Like, even Bruno captain is a differential. Now, if you actually go and look around a lot of content and on Twitter and stuff, Bruno captain isn't that much of a differential. And actually, Haaland feels slightly more of a differential. So many people are looking at Bruno. But, yeah. If I was looking outside of Haaland, I wouldn't go much further than Bruno, Saka, maybe Mbeumo, maybe Mateta. You've got Lacroix for Senesi. Is that better than Van Dijk? I think Lacroix is probably equally as good as Van Dijk, and he's about $1 million cheaper than him. So, yeah. Do I wish I hadn't bought Van Dijk? You may well have seen that note over my past couple of videos. Do I wish I didn't have Van Dijk? Yes, I do. But he's got Sunderland at home this week, so let's see how that goes. The next few fixtures remain pretty good. He'll probably stay in my team for a while, I think. Unfortunately. Yeah. You have Richards already. Would I do Senesi to Lacroix or Malik Chow? It depends a little bit on which weeks you need them. I think I probably prefer buying Chow over Lacroix now. Why do I not like Van Dijk anymore? Just because I've seen Liverpool defend enough over the past couple of weeks since I bought him, and I thought they would get a bit better, but they haven't really got much better. How long do we persist with Enzo? I mean, he scored last time he was in my team, away at Burnley. I mean, if he doesn't do much against Leeds, he'll be close to being on the chopping block for me. But I still think he's fine. He's going to take less set pieces. He's not going to be on pens with Palmer back. But his minutes are great. Chelsea look better with Palmer in the team. I don't think it's a massive issue, if I'm honest. And I feel the same about Semenyo. Now, is Semenyo worth the price that we're paying for him? Probably not, right? But is he a bad pick? No. So he feels like one of those that we can keep until there's something better to do with the money. Senesi to Timber for a hit. I did it for a hit. Now, part of the reason I did it for a hit was the potential price change, or the price change that did arrive for Timber that evening. But is it worth a hit now? Would I do it now if there was no price change? I'd probably be tempted just to play Anderson of Fulham. Why not Gakpo? If Gakpo looks good again, he's a potential replacement for Semenyo in a couple of weeks. Yeah, Foden, Gakpo, both potential replacements for Semenyo. I like Foden, especially with Marmoush potentially going to AFCON, or Marmoush going to AFCON in a few weeks. Just makes Foden even more nailed than he maybe is. Delap or Ndiaye? Yeah, not Delap. Ndiaye there. Who would I bench? Enzo, Anderson, or Minter? Anderson, probably. Yeah. Would I take a... We did that. Dewsbury Hall or Keane? I'd play Dewsbury Hall. I expect Bournemouth to score. Did my stream just break, or is it fine? My YouTube just refreshed itself. And it froze and then refreshed itself. Someone could just say it's fine in the chat, or it's not fine. It's fine. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you. Did anything happen, or was it fine? Grealish to Anderson for a hit. Probably not. Not sure it's worth a hit. Would I start Anderson or Thiago? Probably Anderson. O'Reilly or Chalobah for Senesi? I don't love the Chalobah pick. I know he's been pretty good this season, but I'm not sure I'd be buying him. No, I'd probably go O'Reilly over him, I think. Start Bruno Guimaraes or Cunha. Ooh, that's quite a close one. I probably would go Cunha over Bruno, but I'd want to start both. I'm interested to see how strong your front eight is that you're benching Bruno Guimaraes this week and you don't have any issues, but I would probably play Cunha. 13 million for one defender and a mid. What's that? 6.5 each. I mean, Timber Minter, something like that. Probably. Probably the most popular split. O'Reilly or Timber. I'd go Timber if you've got the money, yeah. But O'Reilly's a really nice cheap option. I don't think he'll play every single game, but he looks definitely part of City's first choice front line. Fulham have conceded 3 pens this season. I haven't even thought about captaincy in the last half hour. It's tough. Because if I get to, 9:30 tonight and Haaland's blanked, it's going to feel pretty bad. But if he's even scored once, it's going to feel pretty, like I'll be pretty happy if he scores once. Where does Ndai rank in my start bench? Pretty high up. He's probably in like the top 3 of that. I can't remember exactly who else is in it at the moment. But yeah, I'd be wanting to start Ndai if you've got him. Yeah, there's a few people saying that Haaland's on 99 Prem goals, but he was on 99 Prem goals before the Leeds fixture, right? So, yeah. What does that mean? What does that mean? Follow up to the Bruno Guimaraes or Cunha question. Front 8 is Saka, Anderson, Semenyo, João Pedro, Haaland or Thiago. I definitely would bench Thiago or João Pedro. I'd play both Bruno Guimaraes and Cunha. Yeah, I'd bench Thiago. I know Thiago's been great, but if there's one, sometimes you just have to look at the fixture that he's got. And away at Arsenal is the tough as it gets. Even without some of their potential better centre-backs, they've got an easier centre-back partnership to play up against in Mosquera and Hincapié. But Saliba might well be back. I think Thiago's a fine bench this week. João Pedro, sell or keep. Listen, if you've got João Pedro and you don't have Thiago, keep João Pedro for Leeds, hope he starts, and then sell him to Thiago next week. If you've already got Thiago, then João Pedro to Waltemada this week is something I would definitely consider. The next couple of games for Newcastle look really good. The only thing is, it looks like Johan Vissa is not too far away for them. Yeah. Sorry. Right, the reason I haven't been moving my screen is because I have a wireless mouse and it ran out of battery. So, how are we doing? Up to 12%, right. Think of Timber captain. Yeah, it's a no for me. Like, as much as I'm happy to bench Thiago, he is playing a striker who scored a lot of goals this season. Injury news on Saliba. He's either going to be back at the weekend or he's going to be back midweek. Injury must have been pretty bad to rule him out of the Chelsea fixture. That's the only thing I can think about it. Soberslai or Anderson. I'd go Anderson and save the money. Every FPL streamer is captaining Bruno over Haaland. I mean, we're in a stream here where my captaincy is not on Bruno at the moment. I might just move it, just to, good to be the same as everyone else. No, but I am definitely considering Bruno. I think he's a good pay this week. I think this is probably the best week there is to captain Bruno. But I do also wonder if he'd have not got an assist, the assist that he got against Palace, which was what? Laying it off to Mount. And I mean, it's all hindsight, right? Because he did get 2 assists, right? He did get 2 assists. So I'm not taking that away from him. But they weren't like great through balls or big chances created. He chipped it over and Xerxes somehow managed to finish that. And he passed it to Mount, who scored from outside the box. I like to captain people who I think's returns are replicable week in, week out. And I'm not sure I see that with Bruno at the moment. But he has so many different routes to points that his floor feels higher than his floor feels higher. What DEFCON did he get against? Interesting. Is his DEFCON been higher or lower in easier games? It's been high at home. 15 against Brighton. 9 against Sunderland. 17 against Burnley. 11 is pretty all over the place, to be fair. Start Waltamada or Mbermo. I definitely start both. There's no way. I'm not sure I could free hit a team that's got 2 better attackers than Waltamada and Mbermo. So I'd want to start both. I'm sure you've got someone weaker, but if I had to bench one, I'd play Mbermo. Senesi and stack to Van Heck and Anderson for a hit. Yeah, I've got nothing wrong with that. You're selling 2 issues. For a hit, would I bench boost Dubravka, Anderson, Rodon, Estev? Yes. Yeah, I would. Newcastle definitely are good over the next few games. Spurs, Burnley, Sunderland in the next 3. If you're looking to buy a Malik Chow, you're looking to buy a Bruno Guimaraes, you're looking to buy a Voltamada. All 3 of those look like nice picks at the moment, yeah. Is Malik Chow or O'Reilly a better buy in game week 15? Game week 15, you're probably going to buy O'Reilly for the fixture, I think. Is Timber a lot better than Calafiori and Munoz? I think Timber is definitely better than Calafiori. He feels safer for minutes. And Munoz, I think short term, yes, especially with Munoz having 4 yellow cards. Pope, keep or sell. I think Pope is absolutely fine. If you've got Pope and you've got other things to do with your team, the only goalkeeper I'd sell Pope to this week, if you've got Dubravka as your backup, is probably Raya. Like, Pope to Verbruggen is fine if it gives you the money to do something else. Like, I think Baker on above average FPL was going to do Pope to Verbruggen in order to afford Bruno. Like, that I don't mind. But would I do Pope to Verbruggen as a straight swap? Probably not this week. But you fancy a Bruno red card is the type of thing he'd do. Haaland pen miss. Again, that's probably... I just feel like Bruno might score this week, but I probably wouldn't think that if I had my armband on him. Yeah, Fulham hasn't been that tough for City in the past. Man City results versus Fulham. City won 2-0. They won 3-2. They won 4-0. 5-1, 2-1, 2-1 are the last results, and 4-1, 3-0. So, I don't really pay much attention to that, though. Sarr to Gakpo and Senesi to O'Reilly or Timber for a hit. If you can get Timber, I prefer it. If you can't, then I don't mind O'Reilly or Malik Chow at cheaper prices alongside Lacroix if you don't have Palace. Haaland to get his 100th goal, maybe. Maybe. Fulham haven't won. I mean, I hate stats like that. I really do. Not having to go at anyone for putting it in because it's true. But as soon as you see a stat like that, you're like, well, it's going to get broken this year. And it's going to be the week that I captain Haaland. Yeah, if you need a free hit or a wildcard draft, it's all in my complete guide video from this morning. So go and check that out. If you haven't already, by the way, we're almost an hour in, and I always forget. How bad of me. Please drop a like on the stream and subscribe. There are almost 4,000 of you who haven't liked the stream, and we're only 500 away from 1,000. So as a bit of a thank you for not plugging likes in the first hour of the stream, if we could hit 1,000, that would be great. O'Reilly's minutes, I think he starts. Now, the other thing that would change the Haaland captaincy is if we saw something like, I don't know, let's say Pep was rotating his team this week, right? Thank you all for the likes as well. I appreciate it. Almost there. Is if like Doku was benched, or like Cherky was benched, or Foden was benched. Like if he was taking a few of the players that I think make City look good out of that team, I'd be more inclined to do Bruno. So if there was some sort of leak between now and the deadline, then I would consider that. Yeah, I mean West Ham's defensive data is dreadful, right? I'm not taking that away from anyone. West Ham have been dreadful this season. Who have they played? I mean, they've not even played anyone. They conceded 3 to Sunderland, 5 to Chelsea, 3 to Spurs. I mean, since Nuno's taken over, it's got a bit better. Like, they conceded twice to Burnley, twice to West Ham, twice to Leeds, once to Newcastle, twice to Brentford, twice to Arsenal, twice to Liverpool. Like, it's not been as bad. Twice to Palace. But it's not great. It's definitely worse than Fulham. It's definitely worse than Fulham. Would I rather own Saka or Timber? Timber. I think the alternatives to Saka are better. Surely Semenyo must be a serious contender for captain. I mean, his returns over the past 5 weeks of 3-2-0-0-1. Okay, he missed the West Ham game, but it's not great viewing. So no, until I see him like getting back on the score sheet, it's a no for me. His data has also fallen massively off a cliff. He is normally better at home, but yeah. Haaland only has 2 open play goals in 6 matches against Fulham. Are 4 of those pens then? Is that really the case? He's got 4 pens in 6 against Fulham. Really? Yeah, Pope's out for a while, so if you've got him, you either sell this week or you just play yeah, if you've got Dubravka, I think it's fine this week, but 4 pens. Oh, here we go. Here comes the doubt. To be honest, a doubt this far away from the deadline isn't bad, but right, we're just going to put it in subscriber only mode. You literally will have had to have subscribed for 1 second to start using the chat, but if you haven't already, please do subscribe, and we are almost at 1,000 likes, so I appreciate that all very much. Ramsdale I probably wouldn't buy, because then when Pope comes back in a few weeks, you're probably gonna have an issue then. The captaincy. Last 2 games, Fulham have 1 expected goals conceded. Yeah, but I mean, it's Spurs and Sunderland. That doesn't particularly surprise me. Spurs are dreadful at the moment, and Sunderland away from home are also not. They conceded, I mean, at home they've been better. Like, I'm not denying that. Wolves, Arsenal, Brentford, Leeds. The Fulham data is good. It is. Thing is, and I know this is really probably not the way that we should play it, but if Bruno was tonight and Haaland was on Thursday, I'd be captaining Haaland without much doubt on it. At this rate, I'll be benching Haaland. Yeah, true. His record is so bad. Just bench him. Best replacements for Sarr. If you can get up to Bruno, then that's a way to do it if you've got another transfer. If not, you've answered your own question then. I don't know if I have. Yeah, Bruno, Minter, Anderson, probably the top three. Yeah, it's not going to be Saka for me. It's definitely not Saka. It's either Haaland or Bruno. No Sensi. Let me take a look. Martinez or Kelleher. Martinez this week. Long term, I wouldn't want either, but this week, Martinez. Senesi to Munoz or play Anderson. Oh, that was last week, sorry. Senesi to Munoz or play Anderson. If you can do Senesi to Munoz for a hit, I'd do it. And I'd just get him in. How much more exciting is it having your captain on the last game? Yeah, it is more exciting, and that's the thing. But that really shouldn't impact our thinking. Really. That shouldn't, but it does. And anyone who says it doesn't is lying. Time of game definitely impacts your thinking. Sarr to Foden or Gakpo and best Pope replacement. For Pope, it's either Raya or Verbruggen, and Sarr to Foden or Gakpo, I'd rather Foden. Fulham conceded 1.9 non-pen XG and 3 big chances to Arsenal. That's pretty good for Arsenal. Would I play Lewis Miley over Thiago? Probably not. I don't expect him to start. I'm all over the place. You'll be kicking yourself if you captain Haaland and he blanks tonight. At least if you captain Bruno, you've still got a chance that Bruno matches or beats Haaland on Thursday. Yeah, but if I captain Haaland tonight and he scores, then I'll be like, well, that's fine. I'm happy that I captain Haaland. Is it a problem not having double Arsenal? No, I think it's a problem if you don't have one. Man United have not lost a home game in midweek in 4.5 years. How many have they played? But that also doesn't mean that much, because the thing is, it's more, do I think Man United win that game? Yes. But do I think City win that? Yes. It's more, do I think Bruno has enough in him to get returns? It's pure luck. Captain both could return. Yeah, I mean, that's probably it, right? Is it okay to go double Chelsea? It's fine. I don't know if there are 2 Chelsea players I'd particularly want to own at the moment, but yeah, if you can find 2, then I don't think it's an issue. Bruno has to defend too much. Yeah, but I suppose he's got good, his baseline's pretty good, so his DEFCON's good. So, even if he doesn't get anything, there's a good chance he gets 4 or something in that game, unless West Ham turn up. But after what happened against Everton last week, I just don't see that happening again. I'm pretty certain that Haaland wins that. -4 Pope out. You've got 5.5. So no, I would only take a hit if you can buy Raya. If not, I'd just look at Verbruggen next week. Where is Bruno in the benching rankings? He's right at the top of it. I wouldn't be benching him. People say Bruno's a troll, but I think he's been pretty good this season. And Burmo Semenyo to Bruno for free. I probably wouldn't do either of those, no. Let me go through some of these super chats then. And Burmo captain, he's up there. I still prefer others to him. Like, I think Mburmo's fine. As we say, we think Man United will win that and score goals. Is he the best? No, because his floor's low. If he doesn't score, he doesn't really have any other routes to it. Chalobah or Timber? Timber, definitely. Is it really worth the risk in captain Mburmo over Haaland if you're chasing rank? It's probably a week that it's not too bad to captain him, to captain Mburmo and go against Haaland. Sorry. Where else were we? Yeah, we did. Ekatike to Voltamada or -4 Ekatike Reinders to Bruno Krupi. I'd rather go the Bruno route, I think. I think he's better long-term than Voltamada. Captain Enzo or Haaland? Definitely Haaland in that. Yeah. Which two would I play? Minter, Semenyo or Burn? I'd bench down Burn. I'd play the two attackers. Fun fact, Bruno has never scored against West Ham. Well, just like the City things where Haaland's not done, or Haaland's done really well and Bruno's done badly, you know it's going to flip at some point. I mean, like, yeah, but, right. So there's a comment. Bruno has pens, corners, and defensive contributions, whereas Haaland only has pens. But Haaland also has massively more goal threat. Like, his open play threat is massively higher. So just because Bruno has, set pieces, he has pens, and he has defensive contributions, I'm not using DEFCON as a reason to captain Bruno over Haaland. I still think, put the captaincy on Bruno and see how it feels. That's probably a good way to do it. Who's your captain this week? At the moment, it's Haaland. Let's put it there and let's see. Oh. Oh. I just got logged out. Weird. I haven't had to log in for a while, to be fair. We're back. We're back. We're back. That's what happened when I tried to captain Bruno. I tried to captain Bruno and it kicked me out of the game. Like, that was probably enough for a sign from the universe that I shouldn't captain Bruno. I literally went to click on Bruno to captain him and it said, nope, not today. It's a sign. It's like, nope, you're not going anywhere near Bruno. Literally was like, nope. You're not doing that. That's not a good idea. That's what it said. It looks weird. It looks weird. I don't like it. Will I triple captain Bruno? It looks weird. I don't love that. The FPL gods might be protecting me. Is it protecting me or is it trying to scam me? We'll know either way. Now Bruno's getting sent off. It's a sign. Chances of Dorgu starting? Probably. I can't remember who played for them last time, but I think he probably will. If you don't like it, don't do it. As if it kicked me out. That's so funny. As if it kicked me out. Let's see. I know Ross does this, right? Let's see what the wheel's got to say. We're going to do a best of 3. Let's see what it says. 1, Haaland. Oh, it's going to be 1-1. Let's see what it does. It's going to be Haaland 2-1. What an exciting Wahil. Anyway, back to some questions, shall we? I think the game logging me out plus the wheel is probably enough to convince me to captain Haaland. But no. No, but seriously. You're doing Anderson and O'Reilly for a hit after all. Don't mind that. Don't mind it. Hopefully Anderson, what's going to happen is he's done well recently and he's suddenly going to blank. But watch him not get DEFCON for the first time in weeks. His DEFCON is just so good. Look at this. He's not hit less than 11 DEFCON this season. He's definitely going to hit 9 now for the first time. Spinning the wheel was worth the money. I'm glad. Paqueta suspended. Good for Bruno. I don't know. Does it? Who comes in for him? I don't know. I mean, West Ham's performances without Paqueta have not been good. Yeah. My plan on triple captain is 17. 17 at Haaland at home to West Ham. Do I think Doku starts? Probably, yeah. Bruno, last player of the game week is always nice. Yeah, it's true. That's true. The idea that people are tuning in and he's spinning a wheel to help him make decisions. What 3 do I pick from these 4? Richards, Van Dijk, Munoz, and Anderson. I'd bench Anderson of Fulham. Yeah. 2 free transfers. Happy with your team. Senesi to Anderson, first sub. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably, as long as you've got a Rodon or someone as a first sub, I probably would just wait. Any leaks so far? No. And we also didn't get anything last week either on City. Like, they were the joint early kickoff and we didn't get anything. So, I mean, I'll be keeping an eye out. If anyone's got anything on Twitter that they see that they want to tag me in, then I will, of course, see it, but preferably only sort of stuff that's relevant to, like, team news or something. Yeah. Paul, let me take a look. You only have Raya from Arsenal on your wildcard. I probably would want more than that. We'll have a look at their fixtures in a moment. Would I do Senesi to O'Reilly for a -4? You've got Virgil van Dijk, Richards, Van der Ven, and Rodon. Yeah, I probably would. Probably need another defender this week. What were we going to have a look at? Oh, the Arsenal fixtures. One on wildcard feels a bit punchy. They've got Brentford at home, Wolves at home, Everton away, Brighton at home, Villa at home in the next 6. And then, yeah. I would expect Arsenal to have more, to win more games or get more points in the next 6 than any team in the league. So I would want more than one. Any chance Haaland gets a rest? I'd be surprised. Fulham away is not an easy game for them. That I don't think it'll be Marmouche. Now, if they're in a winning state, then maybe. But until we see that, no. Will I keep Raya long term? Probably. I don't see a reason or a time that I'm going to need to sell him unless I really need the money. But while there's no Salah, and unless I wanted to go Palmer, like let's say Palmer comes back and smashes it whilst Bruno, Saka and Haaland are also smashing it, and maybe I'd need the money. But right now, I'd be more inclined to like bin Van Dijk, for example. Would I take a -4 for Senesi to Munoz, but not to Timber? Play Anderson instead. I think Munoz is probably better than Timber this week. I probably would go both of. I probably would take a hit to both of them if it benefits your defense this week. Like if it makes your team better this week than it did without the hit, then I probably would do it because you'll want to do it next week anyway. You're on a moving train and need to desperate rank gain. Team value in the bank and need a free hit team. Can I spare 5 minutes on this? On a big differential team, right? If you're going on free hit and you want a differential, I did have a team in my video yesterday, but if you want big differential, you go triple United, you go probably triple United, double Arsenal. I'd have Nketiah in there. I would go triple Liverpool and, gamble against Haaland or something if you want to go big differential. Bench and die O'Reilly or Richards. I mean, O'Reilly's probably the weakest there. Maybe Richards. It's one of the defenders. I would definitely play and die. Reece James doesn't look set to start. Does not look set to start. Who did Fulham play at the weekend? Spurs away. They won. They're going to be on... I don't know. I don't know if that impacts it. I know the captaincy this week is difficult. I know Fulham have only conceded 3 goals at home this season. They have been good at home, but Haaland still remains... Haaland only needs 1. Did I see the goals? For who? That they've conceded? No, but I know they've shipped like 1.9 XG to Arsenal. What's my opinion about captaining Mateta? I don't mind it. I just think they're going to struggle a little bit with all their attacking players injured or out at the moment. So he's probably not up there for me. Haaland, 99 goals. Yeah, but he was on 99 before he played Leeds at home, and we all thought what that would mean at the weekend. Can you tell me if Anderson is nailed or could be rotated midweeks? I would say Elliot Anderson is pretty nailed. There's always a chance with everyone midweek, but I don't think he's a high-risk player. Apologies if you just heard my stomach rumbling. It's been a long time since I had lunch. Is Dewsbury Hall good for this week? Yeah, I think he's a good pick. He's fine at his price. Nice and cheap. He scored in 2 of the last 3, I think. Yeah. Isaiah, let me take a look. Of course. It doesn't show up. You're planning on getting one of them this week. Would I rather bring in Bruno or Minter this week? Bruno this week. Yeah. Bruno over Minter if you've got the money. Do I think O'Reilly will start? Yes, I do. I think City will go pretty full strength tonight. The captaincy is causing me trouble. It's causing me a big dilemma. It's causing me big dilemma this week. Will Foden start? Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. Yeah, I think so. Do I think Harvey Barnes starts? I think he's too much of a risk to buy. Too much of a risk. Benching ranking does include defenders. So if you've got Richard or O'Reilly, most of them should be in the benching ranking for you. If they're not, drop them in the chat and I will take a look. What to do with Pope? So I wouldn't sell Pope for a hit unless you're going to buy David Raya. And even in that situation, I probably wouldn't. So if you've got a spare transfer, then yes, I'd sell Pope to either Raya or Verbruggen. I think those are the best two goalkeepers at the moment. And one's expensive and one's cheap. So it depends if you need the money or not. So yeah, I'd probably be looking to do one of those two. Or if you don't have a free transfer and you've just got Dubravka, I think it's absolutely fine this week to not and just wait. Do I think Saliba plays? Probably, yeah, but not 100% on it. How do I feel about O'Reilly over the Christmas period? I don't think he'll play every game, but there are some cup games and Champions League games in there that he could potentially miss. So he could play every Prem game. I think it's unlikely, though. But even if he plays, 5 out of 6, he's still a good pick. Do I think João Pedro starts? Yes, probably, because I don't think Palmer starts. So I think it'll be Enzo and Andre Santos, Palmer, Delap, and then two wingers. Thoughts on Semenyo? I think he's still fine. I don't trust him enough to captain him, but I think he's still a good pick this week. Is there a chance Saka gets benched? I mean, there's always a chance. Saka with Madueke back, it's a midweek fixture, but Saka is always one of those players that Arteta tends to just run and run all the time. So I would be surprised. Yeah, I mean, Bruno, he still does good for your rank, even if you don't captain him. So there is that as well. But if Haaland blanks tonight, it's going to be a painful wait to Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, Pope is out until Christmas, basically. He's going to miss about 4 game weeks of FPL. So if you've got Pope, you look to sell him. But you don't have to do it this week if you've got other transfers you need to make. If there's ever a time to go against Haaland, it might be this week. You're painting the Sistine Chapel. Good luck with it. Good luck painting the ceiling. I'm here laying carpets, don't worry. Enzo in for Reinders or O'Reilly for Senesi. Enzo in for Reinders or O'Reilly in for Senesi. Enzo for Reinders or O'Reilly. I'm not sure I'll be buying Enzo now, so the other one. I think the time to buy Chelsea players is probably gone. Some of the upcoming games are not bad. They've got a big fixture congestion with all the European games, though, and Enzo is playing deeper. Now Palmer's back. If you didn't buy Enzo with all the games that have gone and with the attacking positioning that he was playing, this is probably not the time to go and buy him. I don't think. Why do I think Thiago is better than O'Reilly this week? It's pretty close. I think City away at Fulham's not an easy game. Fulham tend to be pretty good at home. So I think Fulham probably score, and I still like Thiago as a pick. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with him. I know it's a difficult fixture, but I would probably play him over O'Reilly. You think Fulham are going to win? I don't think Fulham are going to win, but I don't think it'll be that easy for City. But Haaland always gets chances, right? When does Haaland not get chances? Endo doesn't play deeper than Palmer when both play. Look at the heat maps. Yeah, but it's different. He plays as a 10 on his own versus a double pivot of a 10. So there is a slight difference in his positioning when Palmer's back. He's not much deeper, but he doesn't occupy the spaces on his own when Palmer's back in the team. A 7:30 kickoff is a midweek Gandhi, never captain in the early kickoff. I mean, we've seen that a lot of times, and Haaland's early kickoff players have often done well, and it doesn't really apply midweek or to a Friday deadline. It's normally the 12:30. But it is the early game versus the late game for Bruno. Yeah. Thing is, City is just so shaky at the back. The goal they conceded. Yeah, they do leak goals. This is true. So it does tend to mean that they need to score goals. Foden versus Semenyo. Is Aït-Nouri bad for O'Reilly's minutes? Aït-Nouri's about to go to AFCON, so there's not too much of a worry there. Until then, could Aït-Nouri start one of the next couple of games? It's possible. Do I think it's going to happen this week? No, I think it's more likely to happen against Sunderland. Play Thiago on -4, Sarr to Mbeumo. I take a hit for Mbeumo to bench Thiago, but just be cautious with Mbeumo that he's going to go to AFCON in a few weeks, so you are buying him for a very short period of time. I haven't fully set on Haaland, no. There's half an hour to go till the deadline. Not locked in. Not locked in on Haaland. If you had Pope and Petrovic, I would just play Petrovic this week and deal with it next week. You're so tempted by Bruno captain, but it's Haaland, but it's also West Ham. That's the thing. It's the fixture for Bruno more than anything. Which is the best option? Senesi and Sarr to Timber and Dewsbury Hall -4, or Senesi and Sarr to Calafiori and Anderson? I'd rather Timber over Calafiori. But you could go Minter O'Reilly, and if you've got an obvious way to get up to the more expensive defender, then I don't have an issue with that, but I like Timber as a priority more than the midfielder, I think. Fulham never concede more than max 2 goals. Right, so this I agree with. At the moment, Fulham don't seem to concede more than a max of 2 goals, but the difference is, if City score 2 and Man United scored 3, I would back Haaland to have more in goal involvement in the 2 goals for City than Bruno would in the 3 goals for United. When you see a City notification come up, you think it will be Haaland. But when you see a United one, you question whether Bruno will be involved in it. So, I mean, Bruno did, as someone just said in the chat, he did blank at home to both Everton and Sunderland. But after both of those disappointing games, he got an 11-pointer against Palace and an 8-pointer against Liverpool. Both of them were away. Oh, it's so tough. That's so tough. People keep saying, well, there's your answer. But I don't know what part of the statement I just said was my answer. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Just go Saka. It's definitely not Saka for me, no. Bro, West Ham are just dreadful, though. Yeah. As always, if you see anything on Twitter about team news, then please do tag me in it. Please do tag me in it. West Ham are so bad, though. That's the thing. Like West Ham are dreadful. Yeah, they'll probably match each other and then it won't mean anything. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. It's just the fixture. It's so good for Bruno. And it's more that I don't want... Yeah, so and Paqueta's out, so they're even worse, I know. Like West Ham, Liverpool managed to keep a clean sheet against them. I think I'm going to leave. I don't know. That fixture is so good for Bruno. The clean sheet is easy 3-pointer for Bruno. That's the thing. Like, would I be surprised if West Ham didn't score and Bruno got DEFCON and you're already at 5 points? That's the thing. Like, if I get to 9:30 tonight and Haaland's blanked, it's going to be a rough couple of days waiting for Bruno to play. But if he scored, you always think about the negatives, right? It's always the way. But if he scores, then it's going to be easier. Anyway, let's do some questions. Sounds like you're convincing yourself to go Bruno. It feels that way a little bit, but I don't know. You need to replace Sarr and Senesi. You can get Eze and Timber with their hits by getting Klein. I wouldn't buy Eze now. Minutes feel like they're going to be a little bit hard to predict with Odegaard back. All the way. And the other thing is, even when Eze plays with Odegaard, they're in the same space a lot. Raya, Bruno, Van Dijk, Richards, Semenyo, Enzo, and Dye, Haaland, Mateta. Yeah, I just go Minter. I wouldn't buy Eze now. Don't think. This time was always going to come for Eze. Haaland, 60% chance. Yeah, but if you look at return percentage, it's higher for... Right, let me have a look at the data. Let me get Rob T's data up and we'll talk about this. Sorry, I realise this stream is becoming quite captaincy heavy. But it does feel like there's a lot of early transfers that have been made. Cool. So let's look at this first of all. So yeah, here. City predicted to score 1.9. Man United 2.25. Individual market odds. Haaland is 0.79. Whereas Bruno is 0.41. But if you add the chance of a DEFCON in there, it probably goes up by quite a lot, by 0.3 or something. So there's not that much in it. Haaland is just very weighted towards goals, whereas Bruno's got more strings to his bow. Any chance Bruno gets DEFCON against West Ham? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like, there was a lot of data done at the beginning of the season that actually, quote unquote, easier fixtures are sometimes better for DEFCON for midfielders because they the opposition just gives away the ball a lot. Drop a like if you haven't as well. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Yeah. Malik Chow, I like. My favourite of the Newcastle defenders. He's looked very good since he signed. I know he's just scored twice. It probably won't happen again ever in his career, but he's still probably the one I would go with. City haven't looked nearly as good away from home. There's narratives to create every single way you want to for Haaland. There are more negative narratives this week than there normally are for him. But, yeah. Yeah. Enough for you to captain Bruno. That's fair. If you like the Bruno captain, I've got nothing against it. As you can tell, it's very close between the two. Yeah. Who to bring in for Saar, Minter or Anderson? If you can afford Minter, he's better than Anderson, but I didn't really have the money for it. I didn't have the money for it. Nothing on the City lineup yet. If you see anything on Twitter, please do tag me in it. But I haven't seen anything yet. I mean, Haaland will score 1 goal at best. Yeah, but I don't think, like, if you told me Haaland scored 9, then I'd cap Haaland. I think. If you somehow sure that Haaland scored just 1 goal, would I captain Bruno? It's a little bit difficult because of bonus points, because if he got a 6-pointer, then I'd captain Bruno, but if he got a 9-pointer, I'd captain Haaland. So it's not quite that straightforward. I'm just trusting it on. I haven't clicked save on it. Yeah. Play Elliot Anderson or O'Reilly. Definitely Elliot Anderson and Burma over Haaland. If you want a captain against Haaland, United are right up there. You're captaining Bruno. Harry, how do you think of captaining and Burmo? Yeah, I think my captaincy ranking is Haaland first, then Bruno, then Saka, then Mateta, then Mbermo. Why Anderson and not Minter? I couldn't afford Minter. I've got only 0.5 left in the bank, and Timber was more of a priority than Minter. So, yeah. 22, Mark. Senesi to Munoz, Malak Chow or O'Reilly. You have Richards. I would still go Munoz. He's still my favourite of all of those defenders, and I don't think it's a particular worry that you've got Palace double up. You could always look to sell Richards to Anderson over the next couple of weeks if you want to, especially if Richards doesn't start tonight. With all the games they've got over Christmas, he becomes a bit of a concern. Yeah. No, Minter is definitely better than Anderson, but it was just the value that I needed. Timber was the priority for me, and I couldn't afford it. I could have just done Minter and Munoz, but it didn't leave me money for the other transfers I want over the next couple of weeks. Do I think Hincapié will start? Probably yes. Yeah. Even if Saliba comes back, I expect it to be Hincapié and Saliba. Mateta or Thiago? Definitely Mateta. Rodon or Mukiele, or take a -4 to buy Lacroix. I'd probably take a -4 to buy Lacroix, I think. Minter or Richards? Definitely Minter. Like, if you've got an attacker with a good fixture, I know DEFCON exists, but also with Richards not being certain to start, but he might well come off the bench. Yeah. Chalobah or O'Reilly? I probably would go Chalobah. I don't know. Delete an option? I don't see them keeping enough clean sheets. Really. Captaincy, we've got 18 minutes or 20 minutes to go to the deadline. You hate that you've dropped Thiago in this form. I think that's fine because it is the fixture, but I understand that it's painful. Bruno's almost guaranteed to get 2 to 3 if he has any bonus, if he has any goal involvement, plus clean sheet point, possible DEFCON. Suggests he's the best captain, saying that you've got Haaland as your captain. I know. So it's an interesting way that you can use stats to prove the point that you want, right? Man United have the most shots in the league, but that's not saying Bruno is. Like, I'm not saying that I think Man United won't win that game and won't score goals, but there are so many United players who can share the load in their goal scoring, whereas you don't get it so much at City. Now, I know, like at the weekend, you got Foden scoring a couple and it wasn't Haaland, but you're more likely to get it if you knew City and United scored the same number of goals, you would back Haaland to have a higher chance of being involved than Bruno. Yeah, this is perfectly right. Like Fiona's put it perfectly. It's hard to back against Haaland, but this is a week that you quite want to. And that's probably right. Drop one and die Semenyo Minter. And die Semenyo or Minter. If I had to bench one, I'd bench and die. Can you see the stress in my face? I feel it. I can feel the stress. It's been a while since we've had this deadline like this. It's a while since I felt this stress. What's the difference between having Lacroix or Richards? Lacroix has slightly more attacking threat and he's slightly more nailed. When they play 3 times a week, Lacroix plays every game. Richards isn't certain to. 2 free transfers, Pope to Verbruggen, Sarr to Foden, or Pope to Raya and Sarr to Minter. I prefer the Raya Minter moves, I think. Would I captain Mbeumo over Haaland? Would I captain Mbeumo over Haaland? Probably not. Mbeumo's similar to Bruno, but he's not got the other route, so no. Ray Doc, start Rodon. I think I had a look at this. I'd take the hit for Lacroix, I think. Extra transfer, sell Semenyo for Foden, Minter. No, I would just keep him this week. Do I think Gakpo starts? Yes, I do. I do. By the way, very quickly, if you're not in the league code, please make sure you go and join it. It is above me now. Every single one of you who finishes in the top 25k at the end of the season, I will donate 10p. So if everyone is in the league, that's $2,500 to charity. There are currently 600 of you in it, which means I'm currently donating £60 to charity. If you are, it's completely free to join. Literally all you have to do is put the code in. There's also a link in the top of the description. Go and find it if you are not in that league code already. Thiago, Rice or Enzo, bench one. Probably Thiago based on the fixture. If he didn't use the free hit last week, 16 potentially is one to look at. Romero or a -4. I mean, if you've got a defender you can buy that you like, I'd probably take the hit. Worth a -4 to replace Senesi for Van Dijk or Munoz. Yes. I probably would go Munoz over Van Dijk now, I think. Start Ndai or Thiago. My maths was wrong. On which? Sorry, Ndai or Thiago? Ndai. Play 2, minimum 1 defender. Richards, O'Reilly, Ndai, Thiago. Probably Richards and Dye. Defender's closer. I'd play Dye over Thiago, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, Haaland has 6 and 6 against Fulham, but I think 3 of them or 4 of them are penned. Zayed, let me take a look. If you want a free hit, what do I think about it? If you're not sure, you have 3 free transfers. I don't think that team needs a free hit at all. Yeah. I wouldn't want to start Anderson this week, so I don't know who your attackers that you're benching are, but that team definitely doesn't need a free hit. How long have we got? 15 minutes, 13 minutes. Doesn't matter how you score them. True, but is he going to get the pen? Maybe not. If Haaland was at home. Arsenal. Are Arsenal today? No, Arsenal aren't till tomorrow. So we won't get anything. People asking on team news. We won't get anything. Everyone's going Bruno. Double Palace defense is okay. Yeah, it's a good fixture to have them both against. We're into the final 10 or so minutes. Go Bruno. Any news on Krupi starting? No, nothing actually. The Bournemouth one would be interesting, as I do think there's a chance he starts, but yeah, not enough certainty there. Oh, this is what we live for, deadlines and moments like this, but it is also stressful. It's also stressful. Oh dear. Best game week to bench boost. You've got all 3 chips available. If you need any chip talk, please go and watch this morning's video, because I do a whole section on chip talk about all the chips. We're not going to discuss it with 10 minutes to go to the deadline. Play the matchup. It's the easiest decision to make, which would be United. Please, Malak Chow, O'Reilly for Senesi. I'd rather Malak Chow, probably. Feels safer. Sponge, Virgil van Dijk, or Calafiori. You can't afford Timber. If you've got Raya, then maybe Van Dijk. But if you don't have Raya, I would want a bit of Arsenal, so I'd probably go with Calafiori. Saka, apparently not in training picks. There's a player missing from training picks every day for Arsenal. I wouldn't worry about that. Would I play Esteval this week in draft? Probably. He might start. He also might not. I'm not sure how Esteval is going to deal with Leeds away, though, so it might not be him. FPL Citizens. Yeah, I've seen that tweet. I've never seen the account before. So I have no idea. I've no idea if it's reliable. Yeah. It said it's pretty similar to the weekend, though. He isn't. He lies every week. Cool. So it's not very helpful. Fulham was one of Haaland's more favourable opponents. Always does well. But it's been pens, though. It's been pens. Which isn't that replicable. Any news on Croupier or O'Reilly? There's no team news on anything at the moment. Start Mukiele or -4 Senesi to Malik Chow. Start Mukiele. I'd probably just get rid of Senesi. I don't mind the hit this week. I took one. Chances of Gu starting very low. Yeah, make the same moves as me, but you've got no money in the bank. Yeah, I went early. There were price changes. I think both Anderson and Timber have risen since I bought them. Cash or Anderson for Senesi? I'd go Anderson. He's better long term. Minter over Thiago this week. Yes. Triple captain for Haaland? Definitely not. No, I would save that for one of his good home fixtures. Senesi to Kukurea, Chalobah, O'Reilly for a hit. Who would I recommend? Or start Keane and take the value loss on Senesi? I'd probably just take Keane and take the value. You could even sell Senesi after the deadline tonight. So I wouldn't do it for a hit. I never confirmed it on Bruno. I put it on Bruno to see how it felt, but I never did it. Oh, I just love the Bruno fixture. Oh, dear. This is literally a coin toss for captaincy. You should flip a coin on live. I mean, I did spin the wheel and it got twice on Haaland and once on Bruno. Yeah, you keep the triple captain for Haaland versus West Ham, but you don't want to captain Bruno against West Ham. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Oh, dear. Everyone's so confident and so convinced that their way to do it is the best thing to do. Captain Fernandes, it's the best thing. Harry, don't overthink it. Captain Haaland. Harry, Haaland is obviously the best captain. Harry, Bruno plays West Ham. Sell and die or Semenyo. I'd sell and die. He goes to AFCON. So and die out before Semenyo. I didn't even captain Salah versus West Ham. Yeah, but that's because Haaland had Leeds that week, right? Oh, dear. And die to Foden for a hit. Do I think Gordon starts? I wouldn't do and die to Foden. And Gordon probably starts, but I wouldn't want him. Yeah, I could have another 2 days and I still wouldn't be excited. I wouldn't be decided. Semenyo to Mberma or Bruno. If you're buying one of them now, you definitely buy Bruno over Mberma now, yeah. Yeah. Captaincy poll is already up there. 19,000 votes just in favour of Haaland. Right, hang on. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Right. Right. We've got 2 minutes. Let's answer some questions. Munoz, captain, no, but I like him this week. He is on 4 yellows. Mbermo or Haaland, captain. Haaland over Mbermo. I don't mind Bruno. He's got lots going for him, but... Thoughts on Semenyo, captain? Yeah, I don't love it enough. He's not been reliable enough recently. Van Dijk or Timber to start? Van Dijk. No. Yeah, probably this week. Right. We have a minute to go to the deadline, or a minute and a half. I need to decide this for myself. Right. It's just the fixture for Haaland. I don't love it. I don't love it. Right. That is basically the last minute before the deadline, so I am not going to answer any more questions. Please go and check your teams and lock everything in. Pressure. I don't like these moments. Stress. Captain Haaland, do it. I'm not moving it. I'm not moving it. Can the game just end and then I don't have to think about it? I'm not going to move it. Yeah, I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to move it. We're going to keep it here. Oh, dear. At 9:30 tonight, we're going to be either very okay or stressed. Yeah. Oh dear, we're not going to move it. That is going to be the time. That is going to be game week 14. I have left the captaincy armband on Haaland. I have made a -4 and bought Timber and Anderson. I will have one transfer for game week 15, and then, of course, the AFCON transfers. We are going to stick around. We've got a few things to talk about, a few things to discuss. We will wait for a bit of team news and everything like that. So do stick around. If you are heading off, though, please do like before you go and subscribe if you haven't already. There's going to be lots of content ahead of the next deadline and ahead of game week 16 when we get the AFCON transfers. Game week 14 team. So what did I do? Let me just post my team. I did Saar plus Senesi out. Not Haaland in. I did Anderson plus Timber in. Stressed. Good luck, everyone. Cool. Then let me just post it on Instagram for everyone. One second. Right. Team Robot. Good luck to you all. Who dares wins? Who scores more points wins? Right, let me take it out of subscriber only mode and let's drop the slow mode right down. Right. Let's take a look at... let me get Fantasy Challenge up. Is the deadline always different in different countries? No, it's at the same time, but it just depends on your time zone. I think you all know who I'm captaining in Fantasy Challenge this week. Who are we all going to captain? It is double points for midfielders priced at 7 and under. All right, so maybe we're not, but Bruno is going in. I don't even care that he doesn't score double points. He's getting the captaincy. Right, in goal, let's go with... Can I pick more than one United? Can I just... Oh, I can't. What a shame. I was going to buy every United player. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go Sam... I'm going to go Sam Johnston because it's against Anderson, who I've just brought in. In defence, I'm going to go Daniel Munoz because I couldn't buy him. In midfield, under 7 million, right. Minter, who everyone's bought, definitely going him. And who else is popular at this price? I want to sort by price. Rice. Let's go Declan Rice. And up front, we're definitely not going Haaland. If you think I'm going Haaland, definitely not. Who else is there? Is there actually anyone good up front this week? Any good strikers? And I'm not going Haaland. Absolutely no chance. Welbeck I can't do. Strand Larson at home to Forest. Do you think Isak starts? I might go Ekitike. I reckon Ekitike starts. Right, we'll save it at that. Oh dear. Oh, Voltamada. Yeah, let's do that. He feels safer. Yeah, Voltamada I like. Oh yeah, go Raul Jimenez. I like that one. Who said that? Big shout to that. Yeah, maybe I go... Xerxes. I've already gone Bruno. Right. That is where we're at. Oh, that was a stressful stream. Right. How long have we got until team news? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh, I need to check my club team as well. Welbeck is a better option. I've already got Minter. You can only have one. Yeah, I've got to check my club team. Let me get club up. Actually, we're all good. I need a defender. And the only defender I got, we're in a bit of bother. I don't actually have enough defenders this week. I've got to try and hope that I get one. I've got Evan Nilsson. Let me sign Evan Nilsson. I don't have enough defenders. I only have 2 defenders. I'm in a bit of bother. I'm going to have to... Oh, I got Martinez at United. United fans, will Martinez start, do you think? Do you think Martinez will start? Oh, no. Oh, well, I've got him. I don't want Evan Nilsson. He's not very good. Right. No. Oh, dear. No, Shaw starts. Right. Well, that's not great because... Shaw's going to start. I just need a defender. Right, let me try and open another one of these agents with all my gems. I've got Mukiele. Oh, I've got Mukiele and Lewis Skelly. Oh, is Lewis Skelly going to start? Chance of Lewis Skelly starting. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him and hope he plays. What about Mukiele? Who did I just get? Martinez, right. Martinez I can release. And my budget is fine. I will start Lewis Skelly. And if he doesn't play, I've got Mukiele on the bench. Nope. I just got 3 defenders. Lewis Skelly, Mukiele, and Martinez. And none of them are going to start apart from the one away at Liverpool. But that will have to do. That will have to do. I took Gakpo on loan this week. Yeah. Lewis Skelly's got a chance of starting. Calafiori starts. Sorry, we're back. 6 minutes to go until the deadline, until the team news. I'm all over the place. This Haaland stress has got to me. You need some walk in the forest type videos. Yeah, it's difficult with them. We don't live close enough to do it very often. You think Calafiori starts due to his halftime sub? He probably does. That video was good. You loved it. Yeah, we will try and do something again. I'm trying to do something with them for Game Week 16 to have a little chat with them, but it's pretty busy week in general for content, so we might not have time for it. No, I don't think Calafiori will get dropped. It's just whether they gave Lewis Skelly a game, but I think that's unlikely. Your captain, Igor Jesus. Good luck. Good fixture for them against Wolves. Oscar Bob is absent. Apparently. Would I have started and die over Thiago? Yes, I would. Yeah, nothing on any of the City lineups as of yet. Yeah, nothing yet. Any lineups announced? No, we've got 3 minutes until we get Bournemouth, Everton, and City, Fulham. The City one, of course, the big important one. Same City squad. If you guys see anything on Twitter that you want me to see, of course, do tag me in it. And I will take a look. Stressed. We should form a boy band. If only any of us could sing. Actually, I can't speak for them. I've been doing good. Slightly stressed by the end of the deadline, but I'm doing good. Anderson for Fulham or Van der Ven for today. I would have gone Anderson over Fulham, but the deadline has passed. Yeah. You can't change your team. The deadline was 13 minutes ago, unfortunately. 2 late for a 3-week punt for Ahmad. Too late. Yes, I wouldn't buy Ahmad. I don't think there's ever been a time to buy him, to be honest. How long have we got? It is 6:33. 6:33. God, I'm all over the place. 1 minute until we get any sort of team news. Let's take a look. Ooh. Right. You're still able to change. You shouldn't be able to. Yeah. You can't change. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Need to update the be back soon with the rank every week. There's City. Where has it gone? Haaland starts. Doku, Foden, Reinders, Bernardo Silva, O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Nunes, Diaz. I think it's unchanged, isn't it? Still no Cherky. Cherky's good for him, but Tete, Anderson, Bassi, Sessegnon, Burge, and Lukic, Smith Rowe, Wilson, Raul, Iwobi. No Michael Keane for Everton. He is not in the squad. Anyone who's got Keane. So it's Dewsbury, Hall and Dye, Grealish, Barry, Garner, Tarkowski, O'Brien, Mikalenko. Where's the Bournemouth one? Yeah, City are unchanged. Bournemouth, Evan Nielsen doesn't start. Creepy Jr. is in. Creepy Jr. starts for Bournemouth. I did think it was possible. Semenyo in, of course, and captain. Of course, no Senesi in that one either. That is going to be all. Garner's suspended. Yeah, so they do look a little bit weaker. So I've got no Garner. Garner at right back. Idrissa Gueye suspended. So yeah, interesting to see how that plays out. There was someone in the chat who was saying, where are you? saying Haaland out. Let me just hide these people. There we go. Always good. Right. Have a good one, everyone. Haaland is starting. Let's hope he gets something so then it's not too painful waiting for Bruno later on in the week. I appreciate all of you sticking around. Have a great evening and I will catch you all soon. That was a stressful one. It hasn't had a stream like that for a while. See you all soon.